Good morning everyone and welcome back to another Tasty Tuesday. This week we are going to be making monkey bread. And monkey bread is just a silly term for a type of bread that is made out of balls of dough, and when it cooks up it makes it really easy to pull apart and you can share it with friends and family. The ingredients you will need for today's recipe include canned biscuit dough, butter, brown sugar, some cooking spray, ground cinnamon, and granulated sugar. Are you ready to start baking? The first step, friends, in making our monkey bread is figuring out what kind of pan you are going to make your monkey bread in. I recommend a fluted pan. This one is a small bundt pan. You can also use muffin tins for some individual monkey breads. I am only going to do a small bundt pan today, so I don't need as many ingredients as I had put in our recipe, but it's still gonna taste just as yummy. To start, now that I've picked my pan, I'm gonna use my cooking spray to spray the inside of my pan really well so that my monkey bread doesn't stick. Once your pan has been sprayed, I'm going to set this aside and get my cinnamon sugar mixture ready. Since I am making a smaller monkey bread, I don't need as much of my cinnamon sugar mixture. So I'm going to start with 1/2 cup scoop of granulated sugar and I'm going to add it to my bowl. Then I am going to add 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon to that same bowl and I'm going to mix them up well together. Now that my cinnamon sugar mixture is all mixed up and ready to go, I'm going to set this aside and get my biscuit dough ready. Make sure, friends, that you have really clean hands, especially for this step since we're going to use our hands to touch the biscuit dough. Once you get your biscuit dough out of the can, you are going to separate it into individual biscuit pieces, and using a butter knife on each piece of your biscuit dough, you are going to split that in half. You're going to cut it in half, and then each half you're going to cut in half. So each biscuit will give you 4 small biscuits. Your next step, once you cut all of your biscuits, is to roll each small piece into a ball shape. Just like that, you're going to roll it in your cinnamon sugar mixture, making sure that it gets nice and coated. We want it to be nice and cinnamony. And then you are going to put this in your pan. And you're going to keep going until all of your biscuits are done. Now that my biscuit dough has been added to my bundt pan, I always like to add a little bit extra of the cinnamon sugar on the very top, just so that it is nice and sweet. The last step before this goes in the oven is to make a glaze that goes over top. So for your glaze, friends, you are going to need butter and brown sugar. I like to make this while my oven is warming up to 350 degrees. The first step is to cut your butter into small pieces and add it to your pan. Once it's in your pan, you're going to turn it on to medium-low heat so that it can get nice and melted. Once the butter is melted, you are going to add your brown sugar, and stirring, you want to mix it all together. You are going to let the mixture come to a boil. Once it hits a boil, while you are stirring, you want to let it boil for 1 minute. Once it's done, a grown-up will gently pour it over the top of your biscuit dough. And then it is ready for the oven. Friends, when a recipe calls for packed brown sugar, it means you are going to press the sugar into your measuring cup until it reaches the top, and then you can add it to your pan or your bowl. You just want to use a spoon, the back of a spoon, to press it down. That is what a recipe means by packed. Now that my mixture has been boiling for a minute, I'm going to turn off the heat. And this is the part for an adult, friends. You are going to gently pour your mixture over your bread. I like to put my bread on a foiled covered tray. That way, if it spills over, it doesn't make a mess in the oven. Now that I've added my glaze, my bread is ready to go in the oven. Since I'm doing a smaller loaf, I am going to cook mine for about 20 to 25 minutes. Friends, my monkey bread is out of the oven and it has spent a few minutes cooling in the pan. Now it is time for the fun part. A grown-up is going to take a plate, stick it upside down over the top of your pan of monkey bread, and using 2 hands, you are going to flip it over again. I like to leave it like this just for a few more minutes so that it can cool a little bit more. Once it is done, I can lift my pan off, and if I did spray it as well as I think I did, the pan should come off pretty easily and I will be left with a beautiful monkey bread. Friends, here is my finished monkey bread. It smells delicious. It is nice and browned without being overcooked, and it is nice and shiny on top because of our glaze. I can't wait to give it a try.